Oh man, is this the first time you guys have all been back together in 30 years?
No, didn't we do this in England? You weren't there.
We were in England, the three of us. No, this is the first time I saw McKee since the last time that we filmed.
Wow. Still alive.
Well, I would just like to say here's to absent friends. Tom Tolles.
Yes.
Bill Mosley. They're here with us in spirit. Actually, Bill's in Crypticon in Minnesota. He's been texting me about wanting to be here.
So, Tom, this was obviously, a labor of love, this movie, because of how you got your start with George and coming up with him but you had a tough time on the movie, specifically with the producers.
Oh, the rumor has spread, hasn't it?
Yes. Infamously, notoriously. But now, 30 years later, it has such a fan base on its own. And I mean, what is it like now? Does it feel, vindicated or full circle in a way?
Yeah, in a way. I know, I watched it once at a midnight screening. I didn't want to, and it was the first time I saw it objectively. The acting is fantastic. The suspense is there. But it's all in this new book, Night of the Living Dead. This is the version you've never seen. It's everything we didn't get to do.
Wow.
Here, stop your mic.
It's at Tom's table. You can come in your own.
No, it was frustrating because we kind of knew early on that we weren't going to be able to make the movie that I wanted to make, just because of time. This is the storyboards, and it outlines everything we didn't get to do. And I had those boards on the wall. There's like 600 of them. So when the department head would come in, I could go through the movie with them and show what I was going to do. When George came in and saw it, he said, "This is great, but you have a 6-week movie up here, and you only have 4 weeks to shoot it." So, and it turned out to be true. We didn't have enough time to do all the stuff that we planned. But it's still, it's what it is.
Yeah. And kind of...
That's great.
Absolutely. You mentioned George, and of course, again, you had such a close personal and professional working relationship. But take us back to the beginning of, when this idea first came about to remake Night of the Living Dead and put it in your own kind of modernized way.
George and I were walking somewhere. He said, "I got the rights to redo Night of the Living Dead." And I thought, great, I'll be creating zombies, for this new... He said, no, I want you to direct it. But George and I go back way before Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
George came to my high school when I was a sophomore, and to audition for two kids. I went to an all-boy high school. And he picked me out of the whole high school. And I had a screen test. The movie never got made. But then he remembered me when he was doing Martin.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I got to play a part in the stunts and makeup effects in Martin. And then I did Tales from the Dark Side with him. And that's what led to him asking me to direct this.
And, George had things that he didn't even get to do on the original one. So the fact that this kind of started with him, this was another shot for both of you guys to kind of not only modernize it, but kind of get a second pass. And you made there's some obvious differences between the two.
Well,
what were those?
When it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't wait for the birds to start chirping, so we couldn't shoot anymore that night. And Patty was taking care of me. Patty was fetching me lunch because I just needed to go to sleep on the lunch hour. And so I thought to myself, I was supposed to work on the original Night of the Living Dead, but I was in Vietnam when he shot that. I had enlisted in the Army, and they called me in. So it was like a full circle for me to be on the set of this and thinking, wow, I didn't get to do the original, but here I am directing this remake. So that kept me going.
Absolutely, yeah. And Tony, I want to talk to you. We talked so much about how historically significant Candyman was as a person of color in a horror film, but that original role then that Dwayne Jones inhabited was the first. I mean, it was so important. And what was that? This was one of your first horror films, if not your first. What was that like to then inhabit?
It was my introduction to the horror community.
Yeah.
I remember talking to George and hearing him tell the story. George did the role of Ben to be black. And he said, no, it was wide open. And Dwayne just happened to be the best actor to walk into the room.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the original at the drive-in. And I knew then I wanted to be an actor, and I was totally inspired by his performance and context of the story that, okay, I can be successful as well. So it sort of inspired me to go forward. And then when I had the opportunity to show Tom, convince him to give me the role.
Jack me up against the wall.
I wouldn't go that far. But you did try, okay. It changes over time, forgive me.
As you get older, you sort of lose your memory. I know, yeah. Short-term memory goes away. Yeah.
Patricia, you're part of that. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We were finished casting for Ben. I hadn't met Tony Todd. You know, Lawrence Fishburne auditioned for Ben. The guy from ER, Eric LaSalle auditioned for him. So we were done. We were leaving. Big Ring. Yeah, we were leaving, and he was in the hallway, you know, and
It was Saturday, my day off.
right. So so I said, of course. So we gave him the script. He went out in the hallway. He came back in 5 minutes later without the script, knew all the lines, and produced tears. I closed the book. I said, "That's it."
Patricia, you're part of this kind of, family, the Romero family. You went to college with Tom, is that true?
That's right.
And you were in Night Riders and Monkey Shine and Tales from the Dark Side. But this is such a physical role, and your background in stunts with everything from Jurassic Park, Army of Darkness. The energy, you really made this role less of a damsel in distress and more of a true fighter and final girl, and brought so much to that. So talk about kind of your approach to modernizing this character.
George, I think Tom, you and George talked about, right? Didn't you say?
I said to George, why can't Barbara come back and help out?
Yeah.
He said he thought she was dead. I said, no, you only saw her dragged out. The original movie, why can't she come back and kick ass? Because I had just seen Alien with Sigourney Weaver being this woman hero. So he wrote the ending for Barbara that's in the film, where she does come back and kick ass.
Right, so I didn't quite get why we want to remake. I didn't know the reasons for making the remake. I thought the first one was so awesome and so scary and so, all that. And Tom said, no, you gotta read the script. You gotta read the script. Because I didn't want to be the girl that, has sex, go downstairs and the lights all go out into the cellar with a candle in her underpants. What to sick of those tropes.
Tony would love to see that.
I would have done it.
Right. So and it's just not me. And I just really, I remember, Tom, you said to me, no, this is you. You want to do this. It's just like,
I mean, technically, Tony, you're the one that goes down in the cellar with the candle in your underpants in this one.
Wasn't going to say me.
The first time I ever met Patty, she was kicking the shit out of her boyfriend. And, it was in a fight class in college. And that's the first time I saw her as the tough woman that she is.
And Mickey and William, how did you guys then come to kind of be involved in it?
It was a taped audition, wasn't it?
For me?
For me it was, yeah. I was working, I was roommates with Viggo Mortensen at the time, and we were working on Young Guns 2. And John Bullich called me and said, there's a part in this movie that I think Savini would like you for. And so I got this break. I was like, this is Night of the Living Dead. Like, how in the world? This is the best thing that ever happened to me. So Viggo directed my audition in New Mexico. And then I sent the videotape. And this is before computers, so any sort of interaction, there was like 2 weeks in between every time we mailed something, and then just one day out of the blue, my agent, I had never met him in person, and my agent just said, they want to use you in this. I was It's like, holy shit. The greatest thing ever has just happened to me. So yeah, how about you?
Yeah, well, I just answered and called. I just set up. I had audition for Night of the Living Dead, a remake. I was like, wow, no other history. And I show up, and Tom is casting and auditioning Tom Tolles. And I am coming in, and we're reading the scenes together.
Right, right.
And we did it several times. There was a lot of electricity in the room. And I thought, wow. And Tom said, let's do this. Let's do it again. Let's try a different scene.
But I remember you also produced Tears.
I did produce Tears. I was so moved by the whole thing.
Well, I wanted everybody to look like the characters from the original film, except for Barbara, because I knew we were going to take a different twist with her.
But yeah, it was amazing. And then you even said, well, we're considering a lot of other people after I'd been there like an hour and a half. And he said, but I'm gonna get you.
Okay.
And I thought, oh wow. And didn't hear anything for a month, and sure enough,
That's the way it happens.
I got the job.
Wow.
And like you, I feel like it's one of the most wonderful things that ever happened to me, not only as an actress, but as a person, because the experience was remarkable.
Yeah, everyone was really nice on the shoot. That was good. All the actors were really, really supportive and cool, and it was such a pleasure.
It's chemistry, a wonderful chemistry.
A lot of carpentry. Me and Tony had a lot of nailing to do.
I do want to take it back to Ben. You know, we talked about how important and historical that character was, and you know, such a poetic kind of poignant to the original movie. Yeah, and one I think the biggest differences between the two films is, of course, how you die and that change. What was the discussion? What was the discussion there to change?
Well, there were some compromises that we had to make on the set at almost the last minute for how Harry dies, for one thing. It was a totally different kind of Lolita in the attic death for Harry. But I think your death was in the script the way you showed it.
I think it was towards the end of the production.
Yeah. That's what I hate. That's what I hate about the video cassette poster. You're there as a zombie.
Yeah.
People aren't supposed to know that he turns into. But there were two things that are not in this book that I just remembered. Two things that I asked to do and that I was forbidden to do. You wanted to kiss Barbara, and they wouldn't let him do that.
So he was twice. Barbara got away, Helen got away.
Yeah.
And then Tom, what's the other one? Tom Tolles. Tom told Harry, he calls you Mr. Ben. I wanted to call you Uncle Ben. They wouldn't let it happen.
No, I wouldn't let that happen. I gotta say this, the tension between me and Tom on the set was palpable. Yeah, because we were into the character so much, and I couldn't be Ben without him being, you know, the Harry that he was. And I remember years before he passed, he apologized to me because he was going through, you know, what he was going through. And we almost came to blows at one point around lunchtime. We almost called each other out.
I never knew it.
Quiet it down, so to speak, professional. But we put it into the scene, so all that raw thing was what was killed.
Maybe it was him that wanted to say that.
I told him this, well, I told him you call me that.
And he did not call you that.
Anyway, but yeah, okay.
Let's.
People here, man. We were all in the barn.
Yes.
The
Basement and barn.
basement of the barn.
Yeah, do you notice? Anybody notice how Tony saved the whole movie when the side of the wall in the front porch catches on fire, which was not planned. And he's like, oh, that changes everything. I can put that
I
fire
was going to
out.
ask about that because I rewatched it. I've seen so many times. I rewatched it last night, and it feels like that was definitely not planned. But you reacted
Well, I
and
had
put
to
fire.
react. It's moment to moment, right? As an actor. But also, it would have been a 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
And I think we were already.
If the house caught fire, you know.
And it was already
4 in the morning.
It's incredible. There's a moment where he's got the torch, and if you don't remember the moment, he's got the torch, and it accidentally touches the house, and it immediately, like it would have spread. And you, without even looking or thinking, just take your hand and put it out, and then keep moving. And it's so good. It's so good.
That was actually one of the more fun scenes to film, running around, jumping in that truck. Yeah.
You did not put your fire out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted him to catch on fire. The stunt guy said they could do it in like an hour. I wanted when he shoots the gas pump, for the gas to fly on him.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's in here. So he would be running toward the truck on fire, and his girlfriend would be like, oh, but honey, you're on fire. And then his body makes the truck explode. But they canceled that. I mean,
that explosion was massive. I remember that they launched that truck into the air.
Definitely Baldwin. Yeah.
It really was. We that were inside the house during that filming, when we looked out and saw that, it was horrifying.
That's back when they really blew shit up.
Well, Patty had a hard time eating lunch because she was surrounded by hideous zombies.
Tom, when I got there, you said, Patty, you're supposed to be one of the living. I had lost so much weight.
Oh.
And yeah, you were like all worried about me.
Oh.
Yeah. And Tom took care of me because I had a tummy bug and I had lost some weight.
Oh.
And yeah, it was really a family. We really had a dysfunctional, but it was so
let's take it out to you guys. I'm sure you got some great questions. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we'll go you and then.
You've seen, right, the whole Billy Film and the actual experience, but the way you guys have seen when you play, you have this big, or you're in that front yard, and you're like back in, you look up, almost like, God, for doing this.
Well, that was another moment that I know you really wanted that shot.
Yeah.
Don that thing was going to be a long shot.
We were going to go, when he screamed to the sky, I wanted to go into the darkness of his mouth to transition to a nighttime scene.
Well, why isn't that be dark?
But they were telling me things like, but you need a diopter for that, blah, blah, blah. Why can't we just zoom into his mouth? My hands were being slapped constantly. Thanks for calling it Shakespearean. That gives it a whole new class.
It does feel like a stage play, or it's a stage performance in some ways. Yeah.
No, the musicals. I can't wait to never see that.
They're coming to get you tomorrow. Yeah, right here.
No, because even when I was doing effects, it was in my contract that I would get to direct the scenes that my effects are in, because a lot of directors aren't magicians and they don't think of them as magic tricks. You know, I always thought of them as magic tricks. My book on special effects is called Grand Illusions, because I think of them as grand illusions. So I always had my hand in there in your directing, and I'm sure George saw that, and part of the reason he gave you the gig, you know. But you have to, there's certain shots, to make an effect work sometimes, you need a certain thing to happen beforehand. For example, if there's a rubber weapon involved, use a real weapon first and have it crash through a wall or knock out a light bulb. So when the rubber one's coming, you still think it's the real one, you know? So these are things that some directors just aren't tuned into, you know?
Yeah.
What was your worst day on set?
Challenge one, well, I just remember one day I kind of had the same reaction that Patty had. I was just surrounded by zombies. It was like maybe 3/4 of the way through, and and I had enough. And I knew I didn't have to be back for an hour after lunch, so I just got in my car, went to Pittsburgh, went to Monty Brothers, and I came back. It was done. These guys had hatchets in their heads. We had people lined up around the block to play zombies. Right? Like their own personality. You say, you don't want to kill you, right? What do you mean?
I can tell you mine, I know mine, my most terrifying moment was the very first scene that I did was the 6-page monologue when I come up out of the basement and explaining what happened. And George Romero was sitting on an apple box that far from me, staring at me, and I just was thinking, I'm so fucked. I'm gonna be flying home by 6 o'clock tonight. And then finally I got through it. One time I looked at him, looked at Tom, they both went, good. I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. That was it from
I forgot to mention Kate Finneran.
Yes. Yeah, Katie Finneran. Yeah. Yeah, she's great. Love her.
Patty, what was your worst one?
I don't know. I mean, I had, like Tony was saying, the overwhelm with the zombies, but I don't feel like I don't have a worse moment that I remember.
Really?
Yeah. I hope you guys know how much I love you. I think I love you. I love you. I know. I just am so up. I have to be like,
It was
you
a
don't
very
know when you make a project. I've been on so many sets, and you don't know. You can have all the money behind it, and you can have a great cast, and it just doesn't gel and make magic. And there's no, it's a mysterious alchemy. And we were so lucky. I mean, Avi, you cast beautifully. I mean, there's a hand in there somewhere, but I don't know. To me, it's really, you're so blessed when it does come together.
I mean, it was a really hard shoot. It was very, very physical.
Yes, we all did.
But for some reason, for me anyway, I respected everyone so much that I was working with that, I don't know, it was a privilege to work with everyone and to work with my idol, Tom Savini.
And you should get Billy's book at his table because he talks about this. It's extensively and other films, but you've got to come by the table. And
Thank you. Yeah, please buy the book so I don't have to put them in the suitcase and carry them. They're very heavy.
But it's just fascinating to really think about that anybody would be insecure. You were so good. That never occurred to me. That we all just worked hard. I don't know. We just and told he was a pain in the ass, but adorable at the same time, and had a lot of energy. He really wanted. We all wanted it to be the best that it could be. And I don't know, Mosley,
Mosley's amazing.
I don't know. Yeah, he was. I first arrived. And Mosley and I were, I think, on the same flight. Anyway, we met and ended up, went to the production office and we got settled in together. And he kind of shepherded me around, just like a real big brother. And it was just, it was like that. We were so blessed. We were,
Yeah, I remember my most difficult moment in the film. It was walking down those stairs into the basement to check on Sarah. And I looked, and I'm telling you, it's really dark when they're filming it, and it's eerie.
Oh, you mean when she wasn't there?
She wasn't there.
Yeah.
She wasn't where I left her. And I think, where? And I say, Sarah? And then I turn because I see something moving. And I see her walking towards me. Imagine your daughter, your darling daughter, she looks like a monster. And I don't even know what to think, and she's getting closer and closer to me. And I say, oh, my baby. And that's all I remember.
Wow.
That's all I remember.
Wow. Well, that scene was going to be an attack on the stairway where you're actually being attacked by her, and it was going to be played in shadows on the wall. You would be on the stairway with her, and you actually grabbed the trowel that the daughter killed her with in the original movie. But because it's your daughter, you dropped it. You dropped the trowel and say, oh, baby, and you let her feed on you. That was the original concept.
Well, I liked the one that we did.
Well, yeah, it turned out okay.
Yeah, right here.
Well, Harry hated it. The guy that played Harry in the first movie. We did the Joe Bob Briggs show together with the cast of the original Night of the Living Dead, including young Tom and the whole cast actually. And he was asked what he thought about it. He said he hated it. And I'm sitting right there. But I don't know about the other ones. I think what they thought, you know.
Well, I was in LA for a convention, and all three ladies were there, right opposite to me, and we were signing autographs, and they were lovely. You know, they're older, and they seemed very supportive. I mean, we didn't talk a lot, but it was a really nice connection that we had. We had something in common, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I got to meet Dwayne Jones once I got cast. He was a teacher at City College in Harlem. That was really instructor's role. And we hit it off famously because we both come from beard, and he gave me his lessons.
Wow. Wow, that's cool. That's
You mean I could have had Dwayne Jones in
yes, right here.
This is a question for Tom. Tom, when I first saw the film, I was about 20 years old, and I remember reading, I believe in Fangoria, that there was going to be a Tom Savini Dawn of the Dead, a remake that you were going to do. And I was so excited about that. Has there ever been any talk about you remaking the Dawn of the Dead?
No, I've never. No. I was supposed to remake City of the Dead, but that never. They raised money and stuff, but then I stopped hearing from those people. But no, I've never heard about doing a remake of Dawn. but there was a remake of Dawn. The Canadian thing, you know, no bike gang, you know. None of the zombies were memorable except maybe the Jay Leno zombie. You know, in our Dawn, you had the baseball player. People remembered all those people. Oh, sorry. Yeah. 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 Sure, yeah. Yeah, his question was, did my tour in Vietnam have any effect on how I did special effects? Yes, because I'm the only makeup artist that has seen the real thing. You know, I mean, I was a combat photographer. I saw horrible stuff. But to me, it was a lesson in anatomy. That's why if you see my effects, they're very real because it has to be anatomically correct, you know. Here's what happens. When somebody dies, no muscles work anymore, including the jaw muscles. So if you see an actor in a movie pretending to be dead, he's got his mouth closed and he's trying to look pretty. You know, that's asinine. You know, the jaw is always slack. A dead body's jaw is always slack. Also, in movies, they go to a crime scene the next day, the blood is red. No, the blood turns brown in 24 hours. So I learned things like that. And that goes into my effects work. And that was directly because of Vietnam. Yeah.
Wow, very good question. And thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, there, I saw a hand in the back. Oh, yep, right here. He was in Call of Duty as like a cameo? Like a voice cameo? Oh, really? George was in a video game?
Never heard that, no.
It sounds like a cool dream I had one time. This is real? Yeah.
It's true.
Well, you've done a ton of voice work,
I
yeah.
think that was in Black Ops 2.
Wow. Very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I had just worked with Bill Moseley on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you know, and he was just my first choice because we got to be enormous pals, you know. So he was. I mean, there was no question that Johnny would have been Bill. Actually, I sent Bill a script and I said, pick any part you want as long as it's Johnny. He wanted to play Harry in the basement because there's more lines, more dialogue, and he would make more money. You know.
We got time for like one or two more. Yeah.
The guy back there.
Let's go. Yeah.
So this is like for Tom, like no hate or anything, but is there like kill someone snake twice or did you kill someone snake twice?
Maybe you should pull that down so I can hear you.
Did you like kill someone snake twice or no hate?
Did I kill the snake? No.
No, but like
Somebody, you know, somebody got a text recently on Twitter or something about hating me because I killed a snake on Friday the 13th. I never touched it. My partner, Tasso, he found a rattlesnake in the woods and brought it to the production office. And it was probably Sean Cunningham that decided to kill it in the movie. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with killing the snake.
You heard it here, folks. All right, last question.
Way over there.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, there we go.
The house you used to shoot the remake with, was that in the original film?
No. Whole opposite end of Pittsburgh. And that house and 80 acres was for sale at the time for like $125,000. I really regret
You did shoot it some. You have a lot of great homages to the original throughout.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But no, the house was a whole different. And that poor lady who lives there, people are constantly pulling up and wanting to tour the property.
But you know, that house was such a blessing because we had that backyard. And we were shooting from late, 10 o'clock until like 3. And we could actually always from the house prepare to work. And started smoke machines, and then all this smoke comes billowing out. And then action zombies. And they start coming out of the smoke towards us. All of us we were terrified. It was really scary because that was that much space.
Yeah, wasn't a set, wasn't much.
Just shoot him in the head.
I'm trying to tell you.
You got shot in the head. Tony shoots you right in the head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the first time, okay. And those headshots were done by taking breakaway glass. You know, when someone goes through a window, they make fake glass. They would melt that and pour it into a round mold and pour it out right away. So you have a hollow ball, and they would fill that ball with blood and blow it through a blow tube. Like about this far away. On the first take, when he shoots her in the head, she got shot right in the eyeball. Well, right on the corner.
So then they wanted me to put them down so it didn't happen.
Yeah, but the first time they did it, I said, okay, I have to feel that before I will allow it to be done to my actors. And the ball was so thick. Okay? He shot me in the forehead. I had a welt in the middle of my head. I said, you gotta make these a lot thinner. Okay?
I remember
I took the first hit.
Tom was so good at freaking us out when the zombies would be coming through the window. And the one scene where we put the really big table on the side room window, he kept freaking me out, like saying all this crazy stuff to me about the zombies. And if you watch the scene where I'm slamming my weight into the table and the zombie's arms coming around, I almost broke the guy's arm. We just went like, stop! They're killing me! And apparently it's been told to me, and I'll shut up, that when I kicked the zombie in the back of the truck bed, I kicked the guy in the face. I guess I did. You know, I studied with Stella Adler. What can I say?
It's gotta be real.
Gotta be real.
All right. Well, we gotta wrap this up and get these guys back to their tables. But we do have one thing to end on. We got Chris, our friend from Vinegar Syndrome, here, who again, hats off to them. They sponsored this panel. Give a round of applause for Chris. We gotta honor that.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much. I did not know I'd have a microphone, so I didn't prepare anything. But I just gotta say, for me personally, my introduction to horror when I was about 9 years old was the original Night of the Living Dead, which led me to the remake. So that led me on my journey to end up working at Vinegar Syndrome. So essentially, this is part of my history and the reason I'm here. And I just want to thank everybody on stage for their continued contributions to horror. And on behalf of Vinegar Syndrome and Lloyd and Texas Frightmare, I present you all with these Undead Lifetime Achievement Award and film plaques.
We told you backstage you were getting an award, and they go, which one of us? You're all getting one.
There's one for everyone.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Thanks to Vinegar Syndrome, and thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Another round of applause. Lloyd, Frightmare Weekend with RDD from What We Do in the Shadows coming up in here next. So, see you soon.